Bava Metziah Daf Nun Zayin. We're holding Nun Zayin Amud Aleph. Omar Rava. Omar Rava Omar Chasa. Boy Reb Ami asked the Shara with regards to those matters that are not subject to halachas of exploitation. So the halachas is, he asked this, I know ein lahem, because the halacha that they're not subject to, I know. In other words, the disparity in the price is 1/6. Bittul mekach yeshdam ein lahem. So they're not subject to I know, but are they subject to nullification of the transaction when it's greater than that? Rav Nachman Hadim Rav Chasa, Chasa said, Pasha Reb Ami resolved the dilemma and said, I know ein lahem. It's not subject to I know, and bittul yesh lahem, when they are subject to all nullification of the transaction. Rabbi Yena Omer Akdeshis, Rabbi Yena said this, and it applies to hektish, Omer Akarkois, on property. Ramish Rabbi Yechon Amra, I know ein lahem. There's no I know, and bittul mikach yesh lahem. They're subject to nullification of the transactions. Manda Amar Akdeshis, the ones who says that this ruling applies to the hektish kolshkin Akarkois. More so is going Akarkois. Manda Amar Akarkois, Akdeshis Lik, the Shmul Amar Shmul, hektish shava mana, shechila shava pruta mechulo. Consecrated property worth 100 dinars, that one mechal upon a coin worth one pruta is chul. Talas, when in the Mishnah, aim hoya kedesh balmum. If the consecrated animal was blemished and another was substituted for, yatsa the chulun, it leaves to chulun. Tzara lasis ledamu, and one is required to calculate the difference in monetary value between the two animals and pay to the temple treasurer. Or yechman yatsa the chulun, it leaves the chulun and dvar teira. Tzara lasis ledamu is b'divrei min rabbanon. Shalach shomar av tzara lasis ledamu not teira is not teira. But my askinon, what are we dealing with? If we said the difference between the value of the substitute animal, the value of the animal was baha lemo rishlokish. Because Rishlokish literally say that Sarpasvisloi Domdar Terena, Baha we learned in the Ildrom Shalim and Akrakos for the Mashtad. And the nations Bitul Mekach. Rather, the difference was the measure of the nullification of the transactions. Baha lemo. So the Gemara says, Baha, Lema Rabbi Yechon Tzar Lasas L'Dam Devreim. In that case, Rabbi Yechon say he is required to calculate the difference in monetary value and pay it to the temple treasurer by rabbinic law. Well, Omer Rabbi Yena, Akdeshis. Rabbi Yena say this ruling in regards to Akdeshis. Rabbi Yirmei Omer Akdeshis. It's Tzvarim Shad Rabbi Yechon Omri. I know, in Lahem Bitul Mekach, Hishlahem. The Gemara says, La'elo Omri Bitul Mekach. Epoch to Rabbi Yechon, L'Shlokish. L'Shlokish to Rabbi Yechon. Just reverse it. As the Gemara might come after with regards to what Rish Lakish Rabbi Yechon disagree. The Shmuel Amar Shmuel hektish shava mana shechila shava pruta b'chul. Consecrated property worth 100 dinars, that one is b'chul. Upon a coin worth one pruta is b'chul. Ma'is to the Shmuel, ma'is to the Shmuel. The Bei same about the kulam is to the Shmuel really good to Shmuel. V'achabak mithig marsamar shechila yin l'chatchila loy. Marsabar for the chatchila. Ibuli same name of the no but table the b'chizdel committed the Amar Mai and Lamana in beteris seina. The Amar lachil fox make the ina chiz even less than a ina as chiz. Basically that's the shada ribis benola hadit. Dealing with the lima are subject to halachas of interest, and but any ribis for another hektish. There's no, but deals with ribis and are not subject to halachas of interest and exploitation. But says me alim asisan the kimne v'tesh no. His objection from the Bryce is stronger than that from the Mishnah, which is diffused when we establish it, referring to. There's a principle up to 1/6 is not considered to apply by hektish. Chanami ribis we didn't know that. There's many ribis didn't know that. There's no halacha when it comes to by the hektish. Furthermore, Yachi Yain the Tani Sefer, but that which is done in the later part of the price is bezeh chaymer beheaded behektish. This is stricter with regards to hektish in regards to hektish. So l'cheda aribis. List the name is achim betis Bava Metziah no. Was is hach hashta bishtam is achim betis betis v'sulei. But hektish achim v'sulei. There's many halachas in which hektish is treated more stringent than chulin. Ribis the hektish echidami. What are the circumstances of interest in cases of hektish? Ilema that isfei gizber mea b'mea v'esern. Ilema the isfei gizber mea v'esern. If we said the temple treasurer lent 100 consecrated dinners in exchange for a payment of 120 dinners, and Mala Gizbar, the treasurer now is Me'ila, Mekivin Shemal Gizbar, got somebody said, but they had it. Avesha, Hamayaskik, you can keep a love, Lasapik, Slasis, Ma'ar. We're dealing with a case where one accepts upon himself to supply fine flour to the temple at the price of 4 sa for a selah. Ram the Mishalish, and the market rose and stood at 3 sa for a selah. Tanya learned the rice and Makabal of the Sapik, Slasis Ma'ar Ba'on the Mishalis. What in the case what accepts put himself to supply fine flour at 4 so for a selah. Misabik Ma'arba, the market price stood at 4. Mishulish from the Ma'arba, Misabik Ma'arba, She'ad Hegdish Alayena. The problem out in being on Mesiris, the Gizmar Askinan. You're dealing with building stones that are entrusted to the temple treasure. We first build the structure of the temple with non-sacred and one consecrates thereafter. The Mishnah taught Avodim, the slaves, doctors, lands, consecrated property, subject to the payment of double principal. Now, from where we know this, I'll call the Pesha. This is a clown. I'll share a Chamer is a pratal Kovidia, the Chazru Cloud, but the cloud. As it done, now can I prat my prat before double without the goofy moment, just like the prat is my footage. It's a movable property and its intrinsic monetary value, and the goofy moment. Without the goofy moment, so to any item that is movable property has intrinsic monetary value. Yatsukar land is excluded. Shinim Metalta is not movable property. Yatsu Havadim Shahuk Shulakar Kanani slaves are excluded as they are compared to land in many areas of halacha. Even though Metalta in Gufun is a moment. Hektish and Makar, Hektish. Later Shlomei in the Mishnah teaches, later Shlomei Bava Hamishin, more payment of 4 or 5 times the principal. My time, the Shlomei Bava Hamishin Machmah, and not for later Shlomei Bava. Mishnah teaches, Shem Rechinam and Nishba, and unpaid Shem does not take a shua, and these items were stolen or lost. It was a klal, because it was a prat of good issues, cause a klal, Klal will prat to klal yet and I prat ma prat first don't without the goof a moment I've called over without the goof a moment. That's a question in metalton because what I'm shooting like a says your stash alpha piece metalton a goof a moment. And hektish is a macro will let you show hektish. As is often in Sham no and tell I want to keep in short was a klal I made a share as a prat bechol behema shmeir is cause of klal prat to klal that now can prat ma prat of bush don't without the goof a moment I've called over without the goof a moment. That's a question metalton. That's all I'm shooting like a question. So you start shafa piece metalton and go for a moment hektish. Teaches on a kra. Will they shall hektish. Shemachim and Nishba. The meaning of Bnei Yishach who should claim an English show. Though a shamer does not, where it says the cheda, or the residents of the city who sent their shekels to the Samilish and coins were stolen from the shliach or in route. Allah depends on the circumstances. If it's occurred after the contribution of the chamber, it had been collected from the chamber. The shluchim must take a shua to the treasurer. From they have to make a shua to the residents of the city. Residents of the city then contribute shekels from place to the original shekels. So, if the original ones were found or the thieves returned them, then they're both shkolim. You can't use them for the following year. This Mishnah teaches that a Shemachim does take a shua concerning hektish, contrary to the Mishnah. Or Shmuel, we're dealing with the case of a paid shemer. Rather, they take a shua that they perform the task properly in order to collect their wages. The Gizbarn is this so that they take an oath of the treasurers when they hear me, they said in the year, they take an oath of the residents of the city. They take an oath to the residents of the city in the presence of the treasurer, so the treasurer will not suspect the residents of the city did not contribute shekels. So that the temple treasurers will not call them negligent. It was time the coins were stolen or lost in the grounds. And these two are mechayev. Granted that they did not pay, let them at least forfeit their wages, and the responsibility to safeguard their money includes preventing theft and loss.